Let's play a quick word association game. I'll say a magic card, and you say the first card that pops into your head, okay? Alright. Lightning Bolt. Okay, alright, interesting. Honor the Pure. Okay, alright, we've got a bit of an unusual guy here. Isochron Scepter. Oh, come on. We've tested 350 individuals, and 325 of them said Dramatic Reversal. There are so many other cards that are build-around worthy that work with Isochron. Now, I know Dramatic Reversal is an infinite combo piece, and that's why it's ran so much. Trust me, I get it. But I feel like outside of counter spells and infinite combo, people don't include Isochron in their builds, and that's ridiculous with how many strong cards interact with it. There are a total of 14 instants that cost 2 or less that blink a creature, turning Isochron into an artifact with pay 2, tap, blink a creature, which is so strong in a blink deck, a little mini Rune of the Hidden Realm. Some of these even blink permanents or artifacts, so they double as protection for Isochron. Seriously tough. If you run enough of these instants, throwing an Isochron into the deck is a no-brainer. I actually have my Isochron and a stack of these spells sitting in a pile on the old desk, waiting for the right build to go in. Now, I know life gain is not viewed as very strong, but I honestly think running Isochron with some of these options would step it up a bit. With a solid 20+ instants that cost 2 or less that gain you a sizable amount of life, this could seriously pose a threat in the right deck. Pair that Veto with an Isochron holding a Blessed Reversal, and no one can swing at you for the rest of the game. Honestly, even a Revitalize under it seems decent. Pay 2, gain 3, draw a card each turn. I mean, it's definitely something to consider. With a total of 12 instants that cost 2 or less that return creatures that are about to die into play, this seems extraordinarily strong in the right deck. Decks that run tons of powerful ETBs, Reanimator decks, Battle Cruiser decks, any deck playing big boys, and for the late game, this seems great. These cards can also target any creature, so playing this politically and using it to save some of your opponent's creatures in situations seems like another good line of play. With 8 instants costing 2 or less that copy instants and sorceries, this seems strong in the right list. On top of Isochron just being good in a Spellslinger deck already, being able to copy your spells each turn for 2 mana is very solid. Isochron also casts the copied spell, so it also interacts with cards that care about the amount of cards you've cast, like Storm cards. That seems pretty decent. And speaking of Storm cards, we've got a little entry here. There's a mill one and there's a life gain one. Do with that what you will with Isochron. With a solid 40 instant speed fog effects that cost 2 or less, in a Pillow Fort or Turbo Fog style deck, this interaction again seems like a no-brainer to me. Permanent damage prevention to set up your win conditions. It seems great. With an infinite amount of instants that provide Shroud, Hexproof, Protection, Indestructible, whatever you need to protect something, throwing one of these under an Isochron seems extremely good in the right deck, especially a deck that needs certain cards to stay around. Like if you're in the Feather the Redeemed deck, this little interaction seems, again, like a no-brainer. A lot of these effects target permanents and artifacts, so it doubles as a way to protect Isochron. It seriously puts your opponents in a pretty rough spot. Let's talk about some specific cards. These are some cool 2 or less drop instants that I thought I should bring up, but they don't have enough partners that do the same thing to justify it being like an entire kit in a deck. But these are really cool interactions with it. Misinformation. This one is just funny to me. 1 black for an instant that sets 3 creatures from an opponent's graveyard back on top. I think the idea of being able to set your opponent's draws every turn to be hilarious. Yeah, that Secure a Tribe Elder, Signal Pest, and Noble Hierarch, yeah, that can go back on top of your deck. It just seems funny. High Tide, on the other hand, double blue mana on your turn. Nuff said. Abeyance seems super annoying. 1 and a white for an instant that makes target player unable to cast instants, sorceries, activate abilities, and you draw a card. It seems great in a white deck, it just stops any interaction for what you're doing, and you draw a card. So, I mean... Tolarian Winds. Believe it or not, this is the only wheel effect for 2 or less mana that's an instant. I know it's super strange, you can go look, but super strong in a ton of decks. Throw this under Isochron in a Reanimator deck to fill up your graveyard, in a Wheel deck to, well, wheel, in a Spellslinger deck to fill the grave again and cycle through spells. This interaction just seems super good. And then finally, Limdol's Volt. This one's for if you want your opponents to concede from how long your turns will take. This would be just ridiculous. This honestly might be a win con. But in all seriousness, please make sure to comment any new Isochron interactions that you have, some of your favorite ones down below, because again, like I always say, the comments are 50% of why these videos are so useful. And make sure to check out the subreddit at r/NixLotus to submit a deck list for Friday night deck reviews. Much love, and go play some Magic.